Hi, I'm QDC. What we're about to build today is Diorama Plus Bagdad Breakdown. And this is the third part of the Humvee Diorama update for my particular project. So I'm going to tell you the summary of how I built this particular kit right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and start building this kit. In this first slide, you see the front box of the Bagdad Breakdown by Diorama Plus. And once you open up the box, what you have inside are 6 plaster parts. In this slide, you get to see the front of the building facade, the wall, and right on top is the corrugated roof. And on the second slide, you see the base and some rubble. So, since this is made out of plaster, I primed the entire parts together so the paint will bleed into the plaster, and then I started to paint. So I painted the wall, as you can see right here in this slide, and then I painted the building facade. In this slide, you see that I've actually done a little bit more detail onto the building facade. You notice that the building facade has various colors of rocks on the building wall, and that's just to give it some variation, to make it look more interesting. And right on top of it, you see the corrugated roof, in which I painted it with gray and then gave it some washes of burnt umber to give it that rust colored look. Let's turn our attention onto painting the ground. Before I show you how I paint the ground, I want to show you some pictures of the real ground in Baghdad. In this slide, you see a typical city street in Baghdad, and if you look very carefully on the ground, you notice that the ground is not one simple color. It's various colors, and it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to imitate that onto this model kit. Now, the best way that I've used to actually do that is to use my airbrush. Using an airbrush will make it very, very easy to make the various colors onto your model that's on the ground. So in this slide, you get to see an example of how I actually done this. Now, I took my airbrush and painted the ground with a dark brown first, as you can see here on this piece of paper that I've used to make an example of. And then with various shades of brown and gray, I layered each particular color right on top of each other and giving it various colors to make it look like the real ground. So in this slide, you get to see the finished product. And as you can see, it looks fairly good, and if you look very carefully, there are various shades of darker colors and hues of brown, so it just looks very good in my opinion. I want to focus your attention now onto gluing the building together. In this slide, you get to see all the parts all painted up and ready to go to be glued, and the glue of choice for me is epoxy glue. Epoxy glue is a fairly strong glue that I like to use, and if I use other types of glues, for example super glue, it will not hold the plaster together. So in this slide, you see me gluing the building facade, which is fairly good. And next is to actually put on the wall. So in this slide, you see that I've actually included some graffiti, and I drew some graffiti by using a black pastel chalk. And if you've noticed on the bottom of the wall, you notice that I was practicing my handwriting to actually put that onto the wall. And for those of you who are interested and curious of what I wrote, I just didn't make up these letters or words. It actually is real. It says, "Long live Saeed Butkada." And for those of you who are interested in knowing how I got this inspiration, here is a picture in this slide of the real thing. So this is somewhere in Baghdad, and as you can well see on this roadblock, someone wrote this particular graffiti on there. And if you're interested in knowing who is Saeed Muqtada, here is a picture of him right here in this particular slide. For those of you who are curious about who is this Muqtada, he is an Iraqi Shiite cleric, and he is considered by the United States a quote-unquote radical cleric. He is known to be against the United States along with Israel and UK, and he is known for calling those countries quote-unquote common enemies. So he's not very well liked by the United States. Going back to building the diorama, I glued the wall onto the base, and as you can well see here in this particular slide with the black arrows pointing, you notice that there is a large gap between the building and the ground, so that needs to be filled. So in this slide you see that I used a tile grout, really ordinary tile grout that I bought at my local hardware store, and I simply applied it onto the gap, as you can see here in this particular slide, and it looks very good, looks very convincing, blended very well onto the rest of the base. So in this slide you see the completed diorama. It looks very good to me, and it does look like it's actually part of something one would see in Baghdad. So this was a very worthwhile kit to build, and I quite like it. Alright, so what's going to happen for the next project is that I'm going to build the final part of the entire diorama series. This is going to be, the next project is going to be the Academy's M1151, and this is also known as the Humvee. So building this kit and adding the Bagdad Breakdown, and also these two figure sets from Masterbox Models, I believe that this is going to be a good looking diorama. So please stay tuned for that. I'm QDC, and thanks for watching.